My name is Jorgen Dahl. I'm from Brookings, South Dakota, originally from the Twin Cities. I'm a regional manager for Conservice. I cover all of the state of South Dakota, and the sports I compete in is motocross, and then I race the Pro National Snow Bike Series. The first injury was a broken tibia and 2 chunks out of my femur and a torn ACL, MCL, and that happened from basically a slow-mo tip over of a Ranger. Human reactions to step out. Stepped out, broke it. My leg became a balloon, and that's when I first met Holmoe. I went in for x-rays in La Crosse, Wisconsin, down by our farm, and decided that I better get a second evaluation, and that's when I met Dr. Holmoe. So on the left side of my leg would be my tibia. I had fractured that or broke that. The left side of my femur, I took 2 chunks out of that right on the condyle. Your kneecap would sit here, and the condyle is here, so there's 2 chunks out of there. And then my ACL, MCL were both torn. Yeah, the biggest reason was because I wanted to come back and support our community here in Brookings. My brother had surgery on his shoulder down in Sioux Falls when he was playing SDSU football. But I wanted to make sure to, come back here and find someone that I trust in case something were to happen again, and of course it did. Biggest thing is trust, trust and being able to feel like he's more of a friend than a surgeon. I don't want to come into a hospital and feel like it's a chore to come here. Every time that I come here, I shake his hand and act like he's the best buddy of mine. So, I came in and I could BS with him, and I felt like I could trust him and vibe with him and that kind of thing. So that was the biggest reason for choosing him. It was early in the morning, so came in and got my crippled butt up on the table and chilled out, and I explained what was going to go on, and before you know it, I was underneath some big lights, and next thing I know, I was waking up, and I guess I told a lot of really good stories to the nurse that I was waking up with, and then they brought me back into where my mom was. So I knew what was going to happen. They explained it fairly well and just trusted what they had going on. Woke up and, knew what was going on. They made sure that I had my bearings on before I could leave and that kind of thing. And same for when I got here, making sure that I was comfortable. So we had 2 surgeries on my leg. One was ACL, and then the second was to replace my condyle on my femur. Both went really well, and I recovered quicker than what they thought. So we went from getting cleared on the leg to then, I think it was 2 weeks after being cleared, I snapped my collarbone in 3 pieces. So it was kind of a setback because this was all supposed to build up to the Pro National Snow Bike Series. So we were practicing down at my farm track in southeastern Minnesota, and it was on one of our bigger jumps that's about 85 feet long and 100 feet of travel time. I just overshot it, my front wheel pushed out from under me, and all the impact went to my shoulder. And when I got up, I went to take off my helmet to just get my bearings, and I felt my shoulder go limp, so I thought it was dislocated. So I went to pop it back in and lifted it here, and right when I went to pop it back in, I felt my collarbone move, and that's when I felt underneath it, and I could feel the bone about sticking out of my skin. So, there's a little clicking in my collarbone because there's a plate in there, but Dr. Holmoe said that that'll go away eventually. So, that's good to know. And then my knee, just the strength isn't there quite yet, but that comes with having that many surgeries on a leg. So I'll just keep pushing to get back to where I was normally on strength. Just that he listened to me on my time frames and how quick I wanted to be back. He challenged me just like I challenged him. So if I wasn't going to pass a test that they were going to put me through, then there's no point in me moving on to the next phase, right? So I appreciate the challenge because, like I said, I'm very competitive. So I'm not one to settle for average, I guess, and he's not either. So that's the biggest reason for sticking around and staying with him and continuing conversation. So I'll go back to normally. It's the biggest thing is getting strength back in my leg and my arm, because motocross is the most physically demanding sport there is, and so the biggest thing is just getting my endurance back and all my muscles. So it's a lot of working out and watching my diet and just getting back on the bike and slowly easing into it, so we don't have another injury before the series starts. So I took 2 years off during college because I had 5 concussions that were knockouts. I was chasing the Loretta Lynn's dream, which is the amateur national. That's kind of, as you're growing up, that's the place to be, right? And so I decided to take time off for my health and tried every sport under the sun and never could find anything like motocross. It's like a drug that nothing else can match. It's an addiction, it's an adrenaline rush, and nothing else is going to be able to match it. And so the biggest thing is to be able to go out and compete consistently, be competitive, be one of the top 5 guys. And that's the biggest reason for going back, because nothing can match what motocross does for me. They're going to take care of you. At the end of the day, you're going to come out like you never had a surgery or an injury or anything like that. And if you have a problem, they're going to make sure to fix it.
Are you one of Brookings Health System's grateful patients who would like to give back to us? Learn more about how you can give back at brookingshealth.org/mythanks.